Hi, I'm Faith Pinot from LA Times Studios in Washington, D.C. Here's some of today's top stories from the Los Angeles Times. After 43 days, the government shutdown came to an end Wednesday night. After passing through both houses of Congress, President Trump signed a new spending bill into law. Here's a look into how the deal came to be and what's next for the Democrats after giving in on health care subsidies.
And it's an honor now to sign this incredible bill and get our country working again. Thank you.
The longest U.S. government shutdown ever has come to an end, with President Donald Trump signing a funding bill. The signing ceremony came just hours after the House passed the measure on a mostly party-line vote of 222 to 209.
I'm proud of that achievement, but I'm really sad that it took us so long to get here.
Democrats had refused to support a short-term funding bill without an extension of an enhanced tax credit that lowers the cost of health coverage obtained through Affordable Care Act marketplaces. Without it, premiums on average will more than double for millions of Americans.
We cannot support the Republican effort to gut the health care of the American people.
Republicans said that was a separate policy fight to be held at another time. Senate Majority Leader John Thune eventually promised Democrats a December vote on the tax credit extension to help resolve the standoff. The record 43-day shutdown caused financial stress for federal workers who went without paychecks, stranded scores of travelers at airports, and generated long lines at some food banks.
As people were just kind of on the edge and aren't able to buy food anymore, more and more people are going to these pantries. And that emergency food system has been strained in ways that I personally have not seen before.
The political stakes in the shutdown are huge. According to a poll from the Associated Press Nork Center for Public Affairs Research, roughly 6 in 10 Americans say Trump and Republicans in Congress have a great deal or quite a bit of responsibility for the shutdown. 54% say the same about Democrats in Congress.
The spending bill will fund the government through January 30th, as well as reinstate furloughed federal workers and reinstate back pay for those working without paychecks. And while the government officially reopened Thursday, some officials say not everything will be back to normal right away. Travelers should still prepare for delays, and those who rely on food assistance could still have to wait for their November benefits. And meanwhile, the deal that reopened Washington wasn't the only headline from Capitol Hill Wednesday. According to Ana Ceballos, immediately following the vote, Speaker Mike Johnson finally swore in Arizona Democrat Adelita Grijalva, 7 weeks after winning her election. Here's what she had to say once she finally made it to the House floor.
It has been 50 days since the people of Arizona's 7th Congressional District elected me to represent them. 50 days that over 800,000 Arizonans have been left without access to the basic services that every constituent deserves. This is an abuse of power. One individual should not be able to unilaterally obstruct the swearing in of a duly elected member of Congress for political reasons.
Moments after being sworn in, she signed a petition forcing a House vote to demand the full release of Justice Department files on Jeffrey Epstein. That move came just hours after Democrats and Republicans released a trove of Epstein estate records, including emails from the late convicted sex offender, where Epstein claimed President Trump, quote, knew about the girls and spent hours with one of his victims. In a social media post, Trump called the renewed attention on Epstein a, quote, hoax, and accused Democrats of using it to distract from their failures during the shutdown fight. The forced vote on the Epstein files is expected to happen sometime next week, reigniting pressure on the Justice Department to release the Epstein files in full. And a powerful atmospheric river storm is bringing heavy rain to Southern California Thursday, and forecasters are warning that it's going to pack a punch. LA Times reporters say the rain is expected to last through the weekend, with heavy downpours expected Friday into Sunday. Early storm models show that downtown LA could see more than 2.5 inches of rain by the time the storm moves out. Evacuation warnings go into effect Thursday at 6 p.m. and last through Sunday morning in areas near recent burn scars. That includes the Palisades, Eaton, Kenneth, Sunset, and Hearst fire zones, where the risk of mudslides and debris flows are high. LA drivers should expect road closures to take effect Thursday night as well. Topanga Canyon Boulevard will close at 10 between PCH and Grandview Drive and is expected to stay closed through the Friday morning commute and possibly longer. If you live near a hillside, officials say you should take the warnings seriously. Just minutes of heavy rain can trigger a debris flow. They say that if you hear roaring, cracking, or rushing water, move to high ground immediately. And on the roads, drivers should remember to take it slow. Don't drive through flooded streets. It only takes a few inches of water to stall your car or sweep it away altogether. And remember to turn on your headlights, leave extra room between other vehicles, and give yourself more time on those commutes. Bottom line, this is going to be a potentially dangerous storm. Keep an eye on alerts, avoid flooded areas, and stay safe through the weekend. And Edison International says victims of January's deadly Eaton fire could start receiving settlement offers later this month. According to Melody Peterson, CEO Pedro Pizarro says the utility company created the payout program before the fire investigation was complete. The goal was to get money to victims faster, especially now that it's become more clear Edison's equipment likely started the blaze. Still, however, Pizarro says there's no probable cause that holds his company responsible. The fire killed 19 people and destroyed more than 6,000 homes after it sparked under an Edison transmission tower in Eaton Canyon. Hundreds of other buildings were damaged and more than 11,000 were affected by smoke and ash, the owners of which are eligible for payouts. To receive the money, victims must agree not to sue the company, and so far nearly 600 people have applied. Pizarro says once an offer is accepted, payment will be made within 30 days. Meanwhile, Edison expects to be reimbursed by the state wildfire fund, created to prevent utilities from going bankrupt after catastrophic fires, with the first $1 billion coming from an insurance policy paid for by customers. Investigators are still determining the exact cause, but Edison believes an old transmission line sparked the fire. Pizarro says the company is cooperating fully and wants to be transparent, adding that he wants to do right by the community. And for the first time in more than a decade, U.S. Catholic bishops are taking a unified stand, condemning what they call the Trump administration's indiscriminate mass deportations. Ruben Vives reports that the statement, issued Wednesday, marks their first collective declaration since 2013. In it, the bishops say they're alarmed by what they describe as a growing climate of fear, profiling, and dehumanizing rhetoric toward immigrants. They also criticized poor conditions in detention centers and the lack of pastoral access to detainees. Now the bishops are calling for comprehensive immigration reform, saying they're disturbed by threats to houses of worship, hospitals, and schools. Los Angeles Archbishop Jose Gomez says many immigrants are living in fear of raids, calling this, quote, a challenging moment for our community. In Southern California, some churches have even seen attendance drop after arrests nearby. The bishop's move underscores their growing opposition to Trump's immigration policies and aligns with Pope Leo, who's urged compassion and access for detained immigrants. In their closing words, the bishops wrote that the church's concern for migrants is rooted in, quote, the Lord's command to love as he has loved us. That's it for now. To read these stories and more, be sure to subscribe to the LA Times.